As I laid awake at night, pondering my own existence and replaying terrible memories in my head of times I was a big dumb idiot, three words came to my mind: breakfast, burrito, lasagna. And I just knew that as I plucked that idea from the ether, I needed to give back to the world, create this idea, and show it to everybody. And so this is my attempt of doing so. Looking up a recipe would be boring, so I went ahead and grabbed all of my favorite breakfast ingredients, and by that I mean whatever I had laying around. So to start, we have pancake mix, tortillas, pepper jack cheese, chicken sausage with jalapenos in it, more jalapenos, eggs, onions, and I really don't know what else I'm gonna need, so for now, just some avocados and add what we need as we go. Starting off with our pancake layer, because it is the easiest one to make, and it can sit out the longest while I prepare everything else. We're gonna need 2 pancakes about the size of my cast iron skillet, as they will serve as stacking layers for the rest of our ingredients. The Trader Joe's recipe says equal parts mixed to water, so we're gonna throw about 2 cups into the bowl to mix together. I don't know if 2 cups is enough, but that's how big my measuring cup is, so that's what we're gonna do. Now let's make the actual pancake by turning on the heat on high, because that makes sense to me, and putting some butter in. I don't know how much butter, I just kind of felt it with my heart, and it wasn't right, so I added it more later. But we threw in the first pancake, gave it a flip, and it wasn't awful. But, you know, the first pancake is always the trial run, so I'm sure the next one is going to be better. And you'd be a complete idiot for thinking that, because not only do I completely botch the flip here and fail to put it back on, but you'll see that when I take it off the heat, I immediately have to put it right back on because it's not done yet. But that's alright. Another trial pancake. We got plenty more batter. It's not going to get much worse, I promise. Pancake 3 is an absolute marvel of breakfast making, a paragon of pancakes. It is utterly perfect in every single way. But it's when we get to Pancake 4, where I decide to just use the rest of the batter because I'm impatient now, that I realize my mistakes and that this is way too big of a pancake. I don't think it's going to fit in the pan, but, you know, gotta live with our mistakes. I botched the flip a little bit, but you know what, it's fine. We make the flip happen, and it's gonna be probably the base layer for our lasagna here. We're making it work. Next, we have our onions, which will serve for our Mexican-style omelet. I start by cutting off the ends because they're gross and I don't know what to do with them. Not even sure if they're edible. So then I cut the onion in half and turn it onto the flat bit and start one by one, kind of cutting it like you see here. And then when it gets to the point where I can't go any further, turn it on its side again and keep cutting lines into it. Then I'll take the knife with both hands and kind of just press randomly throughout the onions to dice it up. I do it this way because I'm stupid and don't know the other way to do it, because I'm bad with a knife. So if you know a better way, I'd appreciate it. So put that all into a bowl, and I figure that might not be enough onions, so I grab a second one and repeat this whole process of cutting off the ends, cutting it in half, and then dicing it up like the big dumb idiot that I am. I figure these onions will play nice with the peppers, and we'll have a pretty good Mexican omelet going. Next, we have the peppers, which I'll start by cutting off the ends of each one, and then cut in half and dice my idiotic way. I like to use one of every color. And then for the green ones, we have jalapenos for a little bit of spice. So, I don't really know the best way to cut the peppers, and they kind of just fly everywhere since they're a bit crisp and they're all different sizes and different textures, so this doesn't go very well. But we got it done. They're cut, they're in the bowl, they're gonna go in the omelet. Also be sure to mix them by hand. Finally, we have our chicken jalapeno sausage from Trader Joe's. Really, this can be any meat. This is just what I have around, and I like it. Obviously, you could use bacon, and that would be a bit more authentic. But this is what I have, and it's my omelet. So, prep the first set of eggs. Just gonna crack 2 right into a bowl. Little bit of almond milk. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to also season your food, so I put some salt, and then mixed it all up together to prepare it for cooking. Spray up your pan so it doesn't stick, turn it on to high because that sounds right, and then grab a hearty helping of onions, whatever feels right. Drop in those peppers. Now it's very important that you mix them by hand like I said, because look, I got clumps of jalapeno in there. Also, maybe mix in your sausage. Don't know if that would help. Add spice, because food's supposed to have that. Mix it all together and drop in the egg. Then kind of just start pushing it around, because I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do for omelets. Tap the spatula twice against the rim to make sure it works, and then just kind of wait. Now at this point, I would show the flip, but the camera died, so you don't get to see it for this one. I'd love to tell you that it went perfectly well, and I flipped that thing like a champ, but then I'd be lying to you. The truth is, it fell apart pretty much instantly as I tried to flip it, and it became scrambled eggs rather quickly. So I kind of just threw cheese on top and moved it into the plate and moved on to this next one here. So same order of operations, make sure everything is incorporated properly, and this time I was feeling it. I even gave it 2 clicks again, make sure that spatula's working, but I lost bravery here, and when it came time to flip, it botched. This didn't happen. Scrambled eggs again. For the next one, I gave it 3 clicks of preparation, added the cheese, and just accepted we're going to have 2 layers of scrambled eggs. But we're going to have an omelet, I promise you that. The next one is going to be an omelet for certain. I cut way too many onions. Confident that this would be the one. I pushed it around a little more and even clicked it many more times, but alas, couldn't do it. No omelet. I'm a big dumb idiot failure, I know. So I just kind of pushed it around a bit, more scrambled eggs, threw some cheese, plated it, and filled a bunch on the stove, but that's okay, that's part of the process, and move on to the next phase. I figured now would be as good a time as any to start the oven. I have no idea what temperature this should be, so I started thinking 450, considered 425, but decided on 450. Finally, time to start assembling this thing. We're going to start by greasing up the pan, and then getting ready with our first tortilla. Lay it in there, push it in if you have to, there are no rules. Throw in a cheese layer just to make it stick, and then our first omelet. Make sure you push it around a bit so it's even around, so when you come over with the pancake and drop that thing on, you got a nice even layer. You're going to repeat those steps with more cheese, another omelet, and another pancake. You might be asking yourself, why a cast iron skillet? And the answer is because the internet seems to think it's the catch-all for everything, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm inclined to believe them, and I can just stick it right into the oven. So cast iron skillet is the way to go for me. So slap on the next pancake layer. You might notice it's a bit smaller, but hey, what are you going to do about it? More cheese, last omelet, push that thing around, and it's finally time to cover this up so we can bake it. So grab another tortilla and kind of just mash it around on top of it so it's covered and in it, kind of like a pie, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. There are no rules. You just kind of push, get the... you almost got it there. All right. Yeah, just like that. Get the sides. Make sure it's all covered. All right, perfect. Yeah, just like that. No, yeah, good. Throw that thing in the oven. I don't know for how long. However long feels right. I did it until it was brown on top. Don't know how long that took. But it occurred to me that this is more like a cake. And a lasagna is just a kind of cake. So we're going to need an icing. And I figured the best icing for this would be guacamole. A great start with the avocados when I cut right into it and directly through the pit, which made me think these might not be ripe. So I had to cut around it and, dig it out. Did that for both of them, and usually my technique is to just kind of squeeze the avocado into the bowl, and usually that works, but these are not ready, and they were way too hard, and so I needed a new strategy for that. For the second avocado, I cut it normally, and it didn't break right through the pit this time, so I tried to squeeze it thinking this one was better, and it was just way too hard. It wasn't working, so I tried to brute force it, and that didn't work. So I tried to cut it in half again and squeeze it like you would a lime, but that didn't work, so I went right back to brute forcing it, which still didn't work. So then I tried to skin it, and that didn't work, so I went back to brute forcing it again. Hope you didn't think we were done watching me chop things like an idiot. First up is a tomato. Pretty sure tomato goes to guacamole, but chopped it up, threw that in there. Next up we got another jalapeno because I want the spice. We're not going to de-seed it or anything, we're just going to chop that right up and throw it in there. Also, we get to make use of all those extra onions that I cut by mistake, which are now not a mistake, it was totally on purpose and very planned. Thank you. I started to feel like the avocado ratio was off, so I opened up another one, and it was also very not done. This one was more of a struggle, so I sped this up 8 times because I spent several minutes trying to get it into the bowl. So once that was done, crack open a lime, get that lime juice in there. This gives a nice citrusy flair to the guac. And then finally, we have some garlic salt from Trader Joe's instead of actual garlic. So go ahead and put as much as your heart desires into there, and that'll give it the extra kick that it needs. Grab your fork and get mashing, mix everything together. Because the avocados were so not ready, this took many, many minutes in real time, so I sped this up 8 times for you to get the gist. I'm gonna complete this off camera without you watching because it was such a pain doing this without ripe tomatoes or avocados. Whatever I used, it was the worst. Never want to do this again. Time to take our thing out of the oven. I don't know what to call it, but it was brown on top, and I figured that was good enough. I figured a round pan of any kind would work, and it might be stuck on the pan, but it came out without fuss once I found a nice little pocket for it to go into our pizza pan. And once you get it on there, give it a look. It's like a weird vomiting clam from every direction. Utterly beautiful, lovely breakfast on the inside. Time to ice it. Start with a generous glob of our guac icing right on top. Yeah, just like that. And start mashing it around with your knife. Since the avocados are so chunky, there's not much fight you can give to it. That's about all the effort I'm willing to put into it, so let's just cut it. I'm hungry. If I had to do this over again, I wish I baked it a little longer. Here, see, there's a good crunch there, but it wasn't really all throughout. It could have been crispier, and the bottom was kind of soggy. So when I went ahead and took out the slice, it was falling apart immediately, and I dropped it. Yeah. But salvaged it onto a plate, and let's take a look at that cross section. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of stacked up breakfast items. I don't know what you or I were expecting, but here it is. Alright, moment of truth, all this effort. Let's see how it is. The tortilla lost some crisp. It's alright, I'm just gonna scoop up what I can here and try and get as much as a bite as like. It's actually really good. Like, it basically tastes like an omelet, but has pancake in it and tortilla, which are obviously good. So altogether it's good. I'm gonna finish it. Definitely not worth the effort. This was a lot of work when it could have just been an omelet on a pancake, maybe wrapped in a tortilla. This method of putting it all together, I mean, there's nothing good about it. It looks ridiculous. It's harder to eat. Tastes good, but there's an easier way to do this. I'm not the one to figure it out. Alright, so it's much later now. If I had any thoughts, now that it's hours later, it would be that this really was a lot of effort for an inferior way to eat all these breakfast items. You'd be way better off if you made them separately and just stacked them as you wanted them. Granted, now that it's later and it's colder, you can actually pick it up like a slice of something and just kind of... Oh yeah, that probably looks real gross, but damn, it's really good. So, it just goes to show that all of these items individually are very good, but it can be better. You could make actual pancakes. You could do a better job with the omelet. You could bake it longer. You could just not do this, actually. Do something else. There's a lot of more productive things you can do in this life, and this is not one of them. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. Make a better version of this, and I'll wish I did it. Thanks.